I will ask this, and I will ask this to the POC peeps on this show. That would be not me. There is a lot of baggage that the GOP is going to drag in with Kamala Harris about her background of being a police officer, about being a DA, and having done things in her past that, in the light of day, today are not cool. By the way, I'm a comedian with 12 years of audio out there on podcasts. I'm not running for office either, folks. So my question to you is, as people of color, how much of a pass does she get on her previous transgressions as being the first woman of color on a ticket?
Look, it's the same as it's always been. It depends on your point of view and self-interest. I'm not necessarily a fan. My kid can't stand either of them, Biden or Harris.
Right.
But I also recognize that politics is populated by political animals and climbers. I mean, you're not going to, she's a hardworking, hard-nosed, right, I'm going to get to the top kind of human being. And, right, it's...
Are we switching gears? Are we now going to talk?
I was just going to say that was a very great, you should give your own,
Segway Monster
thing. That Segway Monster prize goes to Todd. Absolutely.
Yay.
Because, yeah, I do want to, talk about her. And what do you think about Kamala there, Bobby?
I'm ambivalent, as I am a lot these days, because I do think that having a woman of color is desperately needed for society. And I think that it sends a really important message, especially during a time of so much political unrest. We're kind of smack dab in the middle of a simultaneous race war and gender war. So she seems like a very logical appointment for that reason. And I don't think that's a small deal, right? Like, I think that you want to make that sort of political gesture as a precedent. At the same time, I think she could hurt Biden because she's got a very militant past. To be honest, like, if I'm a Republican voter, I'm feeling a bit better about if Biden wins because of Kamala Harris, because I don't think she's as progressive as maybe most Democrats would prefer. And it's funny because, and I'm curious to have both of your perspectives on this, Moody and Lou specifically, because Kamala Harris seems to be pretty despised in the Black community. Which is funny because they put a woman of color, a Black woman, she's half Black and half Indian, right? They put her in this position, and yet she seems deeply unpopular in the African-American community.
I don't know if she's deeply unpopular. I haven't looked at those stats. I wouldn't be surprised, given that Black people can be as sexist as any other people out there. I can only speak to my issues. I have the same issue with her that I had with Obama, right? That as soon as you get the nod, who is your allegiance to? She's been a player with corporate Democrats and the corporate powers to be for a long time. Right, it's the only way you're going to get the nod. As far as issues like Medicaid for all, or Medicare for all, issues around, they might do better as far as environmental issues are concerned, but they're not going to do a great job. I should mention one of my problems also with the Democrats is they will create legislation they know that the Senate will veto. Right, we'll never get past the Senate. So they will make all of this, useless legislation and posturing. And once they get in, they will sit on their hands. And that's my problem with a lot of what Obama was doing, and it's what I'm projecting will happen with Biden and Harris. Love the fact that she's a woman of color. Love that fact. Yeah.
But Obama, over the course, like even just to get the first pass of Obamacare through, was able to get both sides of the aisle in a bipartisan manner to actually push it through. So it can be done. The problem that he's got right now is and that Biden is going to run into, and Kamala Harris will as well. Let's assume that they make it through. It's Mitch McConnell. That's the bottleneck, right? And so until that particular problem goes away, like there's over 400 bills that have been passed in the House that have not made it through the Senate because of the stonewalling. Same thing goes for you see the pivots on, depending upon who's in power, how quickly those Supreme Court seats get filled up. And so I will say this about Kamala Harris. If you're going to pick a VP, try and pick one that made Kavanaugh cry. That's a good barometer.
Look, I will say I love her toughness. You know, it's like I'm just thinking ahead, right? Election talk, it gets tense. Trump starts attacking, and I can't wait to see her attack right back.
She's gonna bury him.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, they won't debate. It will just be Pence, and Pence is just gonna gosh and shucks his way all the way through the debate. And I needed some happiness in my life, so I did watch the Kavanaugh questioning by Kamala Harris again, and boy, oh boy, if that doesn't give you tingly feelings all over. It is just wonderful. And I cannot wait for that moment in October when they're doing their debate and Pence has to answer a question, and all you're going to get is that shark stare from Kamala Harris. Just really. And as soon as you see her take in that first draw of breath for her reply, oh, there is not enough popcorn in the world. There is not enough popcorn.
And I think Biden needed that. He needed a VP with strength. Like, when's the last time that the Democrats have had somebody with that fire? I love her fire. She scares the shit out of me, and I love it.
I have to say, though, against Pence, because all of this is like a boxing match. It's like boxing meets chess. Right. It's how Pence looks at, or how his advisors coach Pence on how to deal with Harris. And I think the primary drive of their, retraining Pence to deal with her will be make her look like a threatening Black woman, right, who's trying to emasculate white male virility.
I can't wait for it. I don't care if they want to characterize her that way. I think it's actually true, and I think it's needed, right? And I think it's such a metaphor.
What I'm saying is there is a chance for those moderate Republicans, right? The only chance that Pence has is to convince those moderates that might have voted for Obama the first time around that she is a castrating harpy.
Yeah, but she's the VP, and I mean, if you have a problem with people, sort of being uncouth on the political arena, you're not going to vote for fucking Trump anyway.
I also think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that I honestly think that she should not censor herself in any way. I think that Biden put her on the ticket because he wants her to do exactly what she's doing, and let the dice fall where they may. And I think that all she has to do is prove that if something happens to Biden, she can take over the country. And I absolutely agree with you. The only thing I'm saying, I'm looking at political strategies and how they might play out. Oh God.
And that's going to be an interesting game.
If she doesn't say a word throughout this entire, race, they will paint her as being an angry Black woman who
they already are.
Yeah, exactly.
This actually, the similarities to the Obama-Biden ticket are pretty close here, because you had Obama as sort of the first African-American president that you were ever going to see, and Biden was thrown on that ticket as like, he's a youngster, he's a radical, and he's just like turning to the progressive people, like, oh, I don't want to vote for the other guy, but I feel uncomfortable with a Black person. We got you. That's Biden just going, we got you. And now with Biden, now with Biden in that position of like, come on, white people, we got this. And then all the Black people are going, are you sure that we're gonna? And Kamala's like, come with me, brothers and sisters. And that's it, like, I just love sort of like the ability of both of those campaigns to cover so many bases and just go, we got this. We got this.
I think they're definitely going to characterize it.
Yeah, I just wanted to know where you got the stats about the Black community being vehemently against her. I've not.
Well,
I'm out of the loop
and
anyways.
again, I'm not an expert in American politics. I have watched a lot of videos on Kamala Harris in the last 24 hours, but apparently she dropped out of, I guess they're called the primaries, because she didn't have black support. Right? It was like more black voters are into Biden. And even Elizabeth Warren, I think, had more support in the black community than Kamala Harris.
I'll tell you something. That is the narrative that Kamala would want to be put out, because the real reason why she dropped out is because she wanted to be on the ticket and she didn't want to stay in the race and do anything. Like I swear to God, she was thinking.
But don't you think she would prefer to be the president instead of the vice president?
There was no chance for her to be president.
No. And also, too, like, I think, to be very honest with you, I think the Biden camp was like, hey, just so you know, I'm not saying you're going to be vice president, but I'm just saying, if you happen to pull out,
say, and this is the smallest sample size there is, okay? Because it's like literally one
Is it
person,
us?
Right. But I had a friend who was a black woman living in the United States, and as soon as the Kamala Harris appointment was made, she literally wrote publicly on her Facebook, and she was like, "Well, I'm not sure about Kamala Harris, but I hopefully we can make this happen." Like, it's already seeds of doubt from the black community were public.
There are a lot of black people who are very frustrated with her in California, because when, she was a prosecutor there, when she could have done something to end or work against police violence, they saw her being as slow. They saw her as being accommodating to the police, especially around, around the stuff that happened with, arrests of black people.
Right.
And
my friend was in LA, so that probably makes sense, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
all that California politics.